So, on the topic of the Celtics, they've been playing much better lately, excuse me. Since the last time I spoke about them on this podcast, they have been playing much, much better. Since the 23rd of January, the Celtics have gone 7-1. And since January 8th, they have gone 12-4. So they certainly have, been playing a lot more consistently lately. They've been playing a lot better than they were. Their defense has been fantastic as of late. They've given up 100 points only twice in the last 8 games. They're all around playing better. Jason Tatum is fully out of his shooting slump. Jaylen Brown is finally starting to get back in the swing of things, starting to be a little more consistent after his injury. Marcus Smart, honestly, has played really, really well in the little bit I've seen of him. And Robert Williams is almost averaging a double-double this year. He's averaging about 9.5 points and 9.5 rebounds a game. So he's certainly, taking advantage of the big contract he signed in the offseason. And also a little bit more playing time and a little bit more consistent playing time. And he's also, again, we're going to knock on wood here, but, he's also stayed healthy for the vast majority of this season, which has been a problem for him in the past. So certainly that has been great to see. But I think one of the biggest keys to the Celtics' success, especially lately, has been the emergence of Grant Williams as a potential star for them. Now, I will say that his stats are not eye-popping by any stretch. He's averaging 7 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, half a steal, and half a block a game. It's not like he's out there averaging 15 points a night or anything like that. He's not pulling in 10 rebounds. He's not even really playing all that much in terms of like minutes. He's not averaging 29 to 30 minutes a game. He's only averaging about 23 minutes a game. So, like I said, nothing that's really eye-popping. But the advanced stats, by comparison, especially to his teammates, are what really stand out to me. And if you guys haven't figured out yet, I love looking at advanced stats. I think that they really tell much better story of the player than their counting stats ever would. And I talked a couple of weeks ago about his shooting numbers and how well he has been performing in terms of his three-point shooting, and nothing's really changed since then. He's still shooting about 42% from 3, which is really, really good, especially considering he definitely did not have that consistent weapon the last 2 years that he has been around in the NBA. He hasn't had that kind of, just absolute sharpshooting ability. He was a decent shooter, but definitely nothing like what I would believe a 42% shooter would look like in his first couple of years. His field goal percentage is actually third on the team, which is pretty cool. It's at 48%, which is not phenomenal, but still pretty good, especially when you consider the 2 guys that are ahead of him are centers in Rob Williams and Ennis Freedom, who literally do not shoot anything beyond 2 feet from the basket. So when you're shooting as many threes as Grant Williams is, and you're still third behind 2 guys that are not shooting anything past this far away from you, I think that that's phenomenal. I think he's doing really, really well. He's also shooting 89% from the free throw line, which is a pretty big jump as far as I remember in his free throw percentage this year. And that also means that he is dangerously close to becoming a 50-40-90 player in the NBA, which is honestly, that's not super common. Like that's usually reserved for guys that are super, super efficient, maybe guys that are averaging 20 plus points a night. But Grant Williams on the verge, if he can just kind of improve his numbers a little bit and stay the course in terms of his three-point shooting, he's at 48% field goal percentage, 40% for 3, which matches, and then 89% free throws. So if he can just improve a little bit on the field goal percentage and the free throw percentage, he will be a 50-40-90 player, which again, that's pretty wild. So with all that efficiency in mind, I wanted to say that I think that along with Al Horford kind of being a little bit inconsistent, a little bit inefficient in terms of his offense. He's only shooting about 29% from 3, which is just not good enough. I think that Grant Williams would be better as the starting power forward instead of coming off the bench, and Al Horford should shift to the bench for the Celtics. Now, Al Horford does bring a lot on the defensive end for sure, especially on the interior because, He's obviously much taller. He's obviously just been around a lot longer. He's a little bit stronger in terms of just kind of posting up against big guys. And Grant doesn't really necessarily have that, at least not yet. But I do think Grant is just a better fit with the rotation of the starters that are out there right now. And honestly, I would prefer to see Big Al coming off the bench a little bit more and just kind of being the leader of that second unit that I think it desperately needs. Obviously you got Dennis Schroeder, who's leading the second unit right now, but I think that it could go for just a little bit more leadership, especially given what we're going to talk about here in a minute when it comes to Dennis Schroeder. And I think Big Al, he'd be able to spell Robert Williams a little bit more, and Ime Udoka, I know he likes Al Horford a lot in terms of just kind of that pairing, but his offense has been pretty lackluster this year, and I think that he would be a little bit better served. And even if you wanted to play Rob Williams a couple less minutes to kind of try and keep him rested, keep him healthy. He has had some injury troubles, of course. You can do that when you have Al Horford coming off the bench instead of playing alongside him all the time. You can still play Al Horford the 25, even 28, 30 minutes a night if you want to, but just have him come off the bench, have him spell Rob Williams, and sometimes you can play them together when Grant Williams needs to go sit down. But I think Grant Williams would be a little bit better. And I know, again, I mentioned Ime Udoka a little bit earlier. He does like the passing ability that Al and Rob have together when they're on the floor. I know, they're both pretty good passers. They both have really good passer vision. They can see the floor really well. And, when you got guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum who are not the best in terms of that area, I completely understand where he's coming from in terms of that combo and their ball movement ability. But I do still think Grant Williams can help space the floor and open up driving lanes for Tatum and Brown much more than Al Horford can, especially right now. I know he does step back and shoot a lot of threes, but he's just not making them at an efficient clip, or at least not as efficient as he would like to be. And honestly, Grant Williams is no slouch on defense either. He can certainly be a versatile defender. He certainly showed a lot of promise in that area, at the very least in his rookie season, especially in the playoffs. I saw him locking up guys. It was really, really fun to watch, and I haven't seen as much of that, obviously, in the last couple of years. But he's still definitely no slouch. He's definitely above average at the very least in terms of defense. Obviously he's not as potent on the interior as a guy like Al Horford is, but he's still obviously very good on defense. But you know what? Hey, Celtics are winning right now. They're winning right now, so there's no reason to change anything. But and we'll see if we can if the Celtics can keep this going, and see where it goes, and see if Grant Williams gets some more playing time, because I think he deserves a little bit more playing time, or at least maybe not necessarily more playing time, but I think a little bit heavier role in the offense than he has been getting so far this year.
Hey guys, me again. I just want to say thank you so much for checking out the Lopes Goes Last podcast. It means the world to me that you decided to stick all the way to the end. That's super cool. So thank you again. And if you really, really like what you see, I'd love for you to subscribe, like the video, and share it with all your family and friends, because, this is my passion project. This is what I love to do, and I really want the sucker to grow. And the only way that can happen is through you guys, is if you guys can help me out. So again, if you like what you saw, please subscribe, like the video, share with all your friends and family. That's the only way this is going to grow. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.